A match with bitterness, betrayal, and a generational clash with a future Hall of Famer in Seth Rollins and a former WWE NXT champion in Bron Breakker has all the things for a massive WrestleMania showdown. But is it going to happen? What do you want to see happen with Seth frickin' Rollins and the man who betrayed him in the vision, Bron Breakker? This is Sportskeeda Wrestling. I'm Kevin Kellum. Subscribe for more with your notifications on. Get in the comments and let us know what you think of Rollins versus Bron Breakker. Before we tell you all the possible scenarios we can envision, for lack of a better phrase, let's see how we got here. As of mid-February 2026, Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker have been placed on the shelf with injuries, untimely injuries. Rollins is rehabbing from a left shoulder injury, a torn rotator cuff that was repaired in October of 2025, and hopes to be cleared for WrestleMania in mid-April. However, his own comments underscore that timeline is uncertain. WWE on air and in news reports have framed Rollins' current status as rehab, with no firm return date made public. The visionary who made the vision that turned on him stated on January 26th that he was, quote, not going to be at the Royal Rumble and, quote, had a couple months left to go before his in-ring return. Unfortunately for Bron Breakker, his situation is less favorable. WWE announced on February 9th that he was injured during training and underwent surgery and is now out indefinitely. PWI Insider confirmed that Breakker underwent a hernia surgery following an attack angle on Monday Night Raw and explicitly noted that there was, quote, no timetable for a return. But by that time, WWE had already built in a fitting WrestleMania feud storyline. Rollins was betrayed by The Vision, Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, and Paul Heyman at Raw in mid-October after forming the group after WrestleMania. He was forced out of title contention by the attack, and since then a masked attacker has been targeting The Vision, attacking their members, using Rollins' signature repertoire of moves, and more rumors and fan speculation have mounted that the masked man is probably Rollins or someone working for him to exact revenge on Breakker and The Vision. But with Bron Breakker now being injured, the potential for this showdown at WrestleMania is going up in smoke. As we discussed earlier, Bron's hernia injury was serious, and even after a successful surgery, there's no guarantee he'll be cleared in time for WrestleMania. So what can WWE do to work around this problem, but still have a significant moment at WrestleMania in Las Vegas? One concept that comes to mind is that either Seth Rollins or Bron Breakker returns just before WrestleMania, issuing an open challenge. The other answers as a surprise at Mania. Sadly, there's maybe a very low chance of that ever happening because it requires both superstars suddenly being cleared, which is very unlikely given the current timelines and the public information we already laid out. Breakker's recovery was just confirmed on February 4th. Rollins still said he needs a couple of months beyond January 26th. Still, for this match to have a build-up, it can work with minimal face-to-face interaction since they've already been building to this moment. And a surprise element, a return at WrestleMania, would get a big pop, especially with the anticipation for these two to finally have their match. But if that does not work out for WWE, there is another potential solution. WWE can book a match pitting Rollins against the other remaining members of the Vision, i.e. Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and Bronson Reed. In this scenario, Rollins wrestles either three men or a combination of them at WrestleMania 42, avoiding Breakker altogether. Reed, Theory, and Logan are active Vision members. Breakker's injury doesn't just block these matches from happening. Rollins would need to be cleared in time, but he's aiming for April. All matchups are compelling. Rollins versus Reed pits the returning hero against a powerhouse. Theory has a twist and also was a mystery attacker before this new mystery attacker was was inserted into the scenario, and he has a history with Rollins dating back to the pandemic days. Rollins versus Logan Paul has happened before at WrestleMania, but you know these two can tear the house down. Logically, this kind of build directly pays off of Rollins' feud with the members of the Vision until Bron Breakker can return. This aligns with the current TV direction, but with the medical uncertainty around Bron Breakker, there's another natural extension of the Vision's feud, the revenge that Rollins seeks, that could be even safer to get Rollins back in the ring at WrestleMania. There's also a third possible take that WWE can go with. Rollins returns early, potentially still masked or accompanied by masked men, to lead a faction of masked men against the Vision. If Rollins is only tentatively cleared, a multi-man match allows him limited exposure and limited risk, and still working the ring rust off at the biggest show of the year. And if anyone can do that, that's Seth Rollins. Building a small team of mystery partners also has a precedent in WWE's Masked Man storyline. The Masked Man attacks already suggest building to an anti-Vision coalition. Big reveal at the show of shows where the mystery men remove their masks and reveal their identities and intentions. It can be exciting and directly pay off the months built up angles with these masked attackers. WWE can hint that maybe all three masked men were not a single person, and it was Rollins who was behind the entire thing. Once again, the architect. The possibility of this kind of match taking place is oddly the most likely, especially if Rollins isn't cleared 100%, isn't completely ready for a one-on-one singles match. This could allow him to play off the big mask reveal, bring in other surprise allies, minimize the risk for him in the ring, and still have a significant moment and a payoff for fans who've been following it all for months now. WWE often does this to protect a star, but now they can do it to create a special WrestleMania moment. But the creative team might prefer a singles match if he's healthy enough by April. Now, the worst case scenario is that WWE will postpone Rollins versus Breakker to a later date, maybe even another major premium live event like SummerSlam. The fallback plan is to delay the match until a later date where both men are ready to go. And in August of 2026, at a two-night SummerSlam in Minnesota, it could be a distinct possibility that both men would be ready, with WWE bringing in more premium live events into their schedule as overseas attractions. Making a significant quarterly big match payoff like this at SummerSlam in North America could be a logical way to balance out the payout to fans who travel to these major shows. Not everything at WrestleMania can stand out and be that culminating finale. Rather, you have scenarios here where they could dance on the edge of doom for the Vision, plotted by Rollins for revenge in his burning fiery heart, only for the biggest party of the summer, SummerSlam, to be the real payoff when both men are healthy and ready to go. However, by that time, and maybe even past April, it could be a possible scenario where maybe the momentum and the magic and the timing has been missed. A WrestleMania opportunity missed. On the bright side, it guarantees a proper long-term build for Rollins versus Bron Breakker at SummerSlam if needed. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Do you like this video? Subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this.